Hello, creators! How are you guys? Good to hang out again. We have some stuff to talk with you guys about today. I didn't fix my hat, make sure it's on straight. It looks like it isn't because the camera angle is weird. But that's what happens when you just go live. You just roll with it. Today, I want to talk with you guys about some, basically a mind shift set difference that I feel like is changing on YouTube, and I think is going to be very important for us as creators to understand kind of going forward. So we've got a lot to talk through today. We're going to go through a lot of this pretty quickly, but before I start, I'm going to be recording this also as a podcast as well. But before we jump in, though, I just wanted to welcome all of you guys and let you know that it's great to see you. I see Bill the Thrill in chat, and Steve Believe Guitar is always here. Good to see you again, Steve. And Jenny and Alex and Punk Pit and SS Android, all of you guys. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and as we kind of dive into this here together. So I am going to be recording this as a podcast episode. So for those of you guys who are watching this live, I know you have a lot of questions that you want to ask about some of these things, which is great. I'm really looking forward to answering your questions. So I want you to do, Heidi is in the chat. You see her as Scandinavian today, and she will be taking your questions and putting those into a document for me that I can get to here, and we'll talk about all those here at the end. But first of all, I just want to record. Any of you guys who end up doing super chats, first of all, thank you so much for doing those. I will be holding on to those as well till the end, till the recording is over. We'll be jumping into those questions. And for those of you guys who are becoming sponsors of the channel, I thank you so much for doing that, and I'll be holding that and catching up with all those at the end. Now, if you do become a sponsor, just so you guys know, right after this live stream, 1 hour from now, I have my first sponsor-only live stream where you guys can call in on the phone, and you can actually talk to me, and I can talk to you, and we can have a conversation in that sponsored-only live stream. So I'm really looking forward to doing that with you guys here after this. But first of all, right now, let's dive into this. And for those of you guys who are watching the replay, let's dive in. Yeah, it's good to see all you guys. JP, it's Noah, Vicky, Venom Bricks, Alex Bowling, Justina, good to see you. Thank you for being a sponsor. I really appreciate it. That's why hers is in green. She has that little icon next to hers because she's a sponsor. So thank you, Justina, for that. Curtis Hustis, good to see you too. I think I emailed you back about doing a collab. So I'm not sure when that was supposed to happen or if you got that email or not. But yeah. Future Now, Kim, and the Lurking Salmon. Good to see you guys. Alex Bowling. All right, here we go, guys. So we're going to dive in here. Let me hit record for the podcast, and then leave your questions that you want to discuss here in the chat. For those of you guys who are just coming in, because I can see the number going up. Leave it here. Hey, Tom. Leave it for Heidi, Scandinavian today, and she'll put that in the document for me, and we'll be able to talk about it here. Okay? All right. So let me hit record here, and we'll get started with the podcast stuff. And then we'll talk about your questions. Hello, creators. How are you guys? It's great to hang out with you again for another Video Creators Podcast episode. My name is Tim, and today we want to talk about some of the changes happening on YouTube, revolving specifically around the new premium options that they're creating, where you can give YouTube money for accessing YouTube for special perks. There's been, if you guys have been watching my YouTube channel lately at youtube.com/video creators, a few weeks ago I talked about the new sponsor button, and the sponsor button is right next to the subscribe button on YouTube, and it's a way that people who watch you and what you're doing on YouTube can help support your channel financially, and as a thank you, get access to different types of rewards and perks directly on your YouTube channel, like custom emojis and badges and special content you might make available for them, and a lot of other things. So I've been having some fun with that on my channel with sponsors. But I was thinking, like, if that had been released, let's just say 3 years ago, I think it probably would have gotten a lot of negative it would not have performed very well at all with YouTube. I mean, YouTube, if you guys remember a few years ago, it was a tip jar where people could just support the creators they wanted to and just donate, some money and it would come to them through AdSense. And that got used so little and infrequently that YouTube actually took that feature away. And it's been gone for a little while now. But then a few things are happening. And what I'll talk about here mostly today is how I think making a transaction on YouTube financially is becoming more and more of a common thing that people are getting more used to. And I think we're going to look at some of the things that's happening that's leading to this. And some of the updates and changes YouTube has been making, even just like last week, that I think is helping. But and then talk about what this means for us as creators. So the one thing they did was that sponsor or that tip support. It's called support, the button that very few people used. Around that time on YouTube, people mostly thought of it as like cat videos. Everything's supposed to be free. There was this big sense of like entitlement, and there still kind of is that. I mean, just in society in general, but. There was like a lot of people who are just kind of like, YouTube is supposed to be free and anyone who's charging for anything on YouTube is a sellout, or they are just, like they got a lot of negative feedback from their communities. And it just kind of was like, YouTube's free. But if you go to like Netflix, you have no problem paying money for that, right? Or you go to Hulu or Amazon Video or like anywhere else. It's just that YouTube, for good or for bad, set themselves up from the very beginning to be an ad-supported free platform. And that mindset has just kind of sunk in for people. And that's very hard to switch. I mean, even for us as creators, when we start our YouTube channels talking about everything being for free and like, everything here is paid for by sponsors and is paid for by advertisements. And then you try to make that switch with your own audience. I did this. It was rough before YouTube and blogging world. I tried to make that switch. I'm like, hey guys, my blog everything here has been free for years and I've loved doing that, but here's a book that I want to sell. And all of a sudden people are like, whoa, Tim, like you're the free guy. Why are you charging money now for this book? Like we have never had to pay for anything with you before. So why now are you charging for it? And it's not like people aren't used to buying books. People go to the bookstore all the time and buy books. But with me, that was like they hadn't associated I could make a transaction with Tim. And so when I came to YouTube and started doing this seriously, I started this channel at Video Creators with a product in mind. And the intention wasn't necessarily to sell it. It was just to set that expectation, that relationship with the audience, that if I wanted to make a transaction with Tim, I could. So that flip is really hard, both for me and YouTube's been working very hard to make that switch as well. And so they're kind of playing catch up in some ways, but there's been a few things happening here that I think is very good for us as creators, even if they're things that we're not personally paying for. But I think the mindset on YouTube is shifting from being one of like, it's about free cat videos to now being like, this is a place where I could spend money and not feel like that's weird and totally off of the, is like a totally different thing or something. One of the things that have contributed to this, I think, is Twitch. Now, if you're familiar with Twitch is a live streaming platform primarily used by gamers. It's huge. It was bought by Amazon, and the culture on Twitch is very much of people make their money there from micro donations by people giving them tips. And people supporting their channel, being supporters there for a monthly fee as well. Also in exchange for access to monthly perks and rewards and things that they're fulfilling on their channel. Amazon Prime came along and said now anyone who's an Amazon Prime subscriber can also support one channel a month and just, without paying extra, just give $5, which made a big difference for people on Amazon Prime because now, or people on Twitch, because now there's like all these kids whose parents have Amazon Prime accounts, But the parents aren't active on Twitch, the kids are. And so because the kids' Twitch accounts is linked to their parents' Amazon Prime account, now all these kids can support one Twitch streamer a month and taking nothing additional out of their pocket nor out of the parents' pocket. And so some of my friends who are active on Twitch saw that they saw a huge jump in revenue on Twitch when that happened. Come to YouTube now, and YouTube's kind of, they're doing some things. The first thing they tried to do to make it people more likely to make a transaction on YouTube, the first thing that they tried was this tip button, right? It didn't work at all. I think it was too early, and it wasn't really offering value. It was just like, you can pay someone now through this if you wanted to, instead of people using your PayPal links in the description. So that went away. But then they came out with this thing called YouTube Red several years ago, back in 2005. And YouTube Red was a way to, what it was actually a response to, I don't know. I feel like it was somewhat of a, let's get people thinking they should make a transaction on this website. It was also somewhat of a reaction to ad block and in trying to just make a better experience for people overall. And so for $10 a month, you could become a YouTube Red subscriber. And by doing so, you get access to different perks on the website across YouTube as a whole, which would be things like removing ads from the platform. You get, which is amazing, by the way. I know every time I talk about YouTube Red, I start drooling. When I watch YouTube on my wife's account, I'm like, I cannot stand this place. Please, let's log into my account where I have YouTube Red. You get access to their music library, kind of like their Spotify. It's called Google Music Play. And then you get access to all YouTube Red originals and things like that. So you pay some money, you get access to additional perks. All the other videos on the YouTube overall have not changed. They're still accessible through an ad-supported model, so you don't have to pay. Nothing changes if you do, but if you do, you do get access to. If you do pay, you get access to, some additional perks and things on the channel. So that's cool. That I think that started shifting people's mindset a little bit. Now, it's not that weird, I don't think. Maybe some people still don't like it, but the people don't bristle anymore when people talk about money on YouTube. People, I think, or hopefully, and there's so obviously, I have them in my audience all the time, people who get very angry at me if I charge money for anything, and I'm sorry that those people feel that way, but if I did what they wanted me to do, then this channel and everything would go away and wouldn't be here for them in the first place. And I think a lot of us understand just the nature of how this works. So I do think the mentality is changing on YouTube. Let's talk about now an update that just came last week that I think is really making a difference on this. And that is that YouTube Red is going away. Kind of. They're renaming it to YouTube Premium, and they're adding a few different options of how people can pay, different plans now, and different perks and rewards. That's my language because I want to connect it to the sponsors thing, because the sponsor thing on YouTube, I think, is just a micro reflection of the broader thing what YouTube's doing. So YouTube Premium now includes the same thing you're used to with YouTube Red, which would be ad-free experience on the platform, listening to videos and music in the background, being able to download videos to watch offline through the app, access to original series and movies, and a lot of things like that. But now they're adding another separate program called YouTube Music. And YouTube Music actually launches tomorrow as well. I'm recording this on Monday, and we're live streaming this on my channel here on Monday. You guys are listening to the podcast. You're hearing this probably on Tuesday, a few days after that, so it will have already launched. It launches on Tuesday, May 22nd. They'll begin rolling this out. This new thing called YouTube Music. And it is their completely revamped, reimagined, built from the ground up Spotify, if you want to call it that. It's basically going to compete with them directly. So it's a brand new music streaming service from YouTube, and it's going to eventually replace Google Music Play. And that'll still be available, but eventually they're going to, it sounds to me like YouTube Music is what they're going to be investing into. And the advantage of YouTube Music is that not only do they have access to like the music library that you get through Google Music Play, but it's also integrating all of the bootlegs, all of the remixes, and everything that's also available on YouTube, all the user-generated content that's here as well. So a couple of things that I think that YouTube says music is going to set it apart is that it's going to be a personalized home screen that dynamically adapts to provide recommendations based on your listening history and where you are and what you're doing. So if you're at the airport, they'll recommend something relaxing right before your flight. If they sense that you're entering the gym, they're going to suggest some beats to kind of keep your heart rate going, right? And then thousands of playlists just built to help you discover music. Which for me personally, like I guess maybe I'm like one of those old guys now who just kind of in a rut of listening to the same music I listened to back when I was a kid and just keep checking like, did they make a new album yet? No. Oh, they broke up 8 years ago. Oh, I didn't even know that, right? So I am looking forward to some better discovery tools than having to listen, like go to top 40 Billboard and just kind of like listen to everything there and be like, So I'm hoping that YouTube's algorithm is as good as, YouTube tends to be and Google tends to be with that type of stuff. And that it helps me discover a lot of new music. So the price for this is going to be $9.99 a month, and that is just for YouTube Music. And if you want to do YouTube Premium, that includes music, but also is an extra $2, and that's what gets you access to all their originals. If you want, there's links in the show notes. I'll give you access to a handy little chart. Let's put this side by side. But basically, both YouTube Premium and YouTube Music will give you access to ad-free music. They'll let you listen in the background, and they'll let you download content for offline listening. So YouTube Music Premium is $9.99 a month. YouTube Premium is $11.99 a month. Now, if you go with the $11.99 a month plan, you also get ad-free videos across the platform. You can play those videos in the background. You get downloads of videos and all YouTube originals. So basically, YouTube Music just applies to the music stuff on YouTube. YouTube Premium unlocks everything else on the platform, which includes originals and ad-free stuff on all videos on YouTube. So if you guys want to lock it in at the lower price, when this launches, the price is going up, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you can still get in on it right now and be grandfathered in under the cheaper thing. So don't quote me on that. There's a lot of people talking about that online, and I didn't see anyone with an authoritative answer. But go through the checkout process and see what it tells you. If it says $9.99 a month, or for YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, as it's still called until tomorrow, then you hopefully get locked in at that cheaper price, that monthly rate. So go check it out. That's at youtube.com/red. So it says it right here. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the page. A new member can secure this price, $9.99 in the U.S. It says when YouTube Premium launches, YouTube Red members will automatically receive access at their current price. In countries where YouTube Red is currently available, a new member can also secure this price, $9.99 in the U.S. by joining right now at youtube.com/red. So today's your last day to do it if you're watching the live stream right now. Let's lock in that lower price. I feel like I should get a commission here, but I don't. I don't know why everyone's talking about that. Did they just not finish reading the post? I mean, I didn't, I guess. I missed that little tiny bullet point there. And it's also, for those of you in the chat, it's not available in all countries right now. They're going to, it will be United States, Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, and South Korea. And then it will be coming soon to Austria, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Norway, Russia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and then expanding beyond there even more going forward. So I think that given what they're doing with music and given with YouTube Premium, it's starting to feel a little bit more like a Netflix type of opportunity that has a free ad-supported version. If you want access to if you want access to all the user-generated stuff, then you can get that for free through AdSense supported stuff. But if you want the exclusive premium YouTube Red originals, which my wife and I enjoy watching. We don't have Netflix. We do have Amazon Prime, but we actually stopped using it once we for video stuff. Once we got YouTube TV, actually. YouTube TV is kind of what we use most now, which we really like. But that does include originals as well on YouTube TV. But it's not ad free. So there's a lot of different packages. YouTube TV, I think currently is $40 a month, and that's a whole another different thing. So kind of my point though is I think and I hope that it's becoming more and more likely that people will think about making transaction on YouTube. And now when it comes to your channel as a creator, as the sponsor button that is currently just in the very closed beta on non-gaming channels, I want to see how this makes an impact, because basically what YouTube is doing as a whole on their platform with different levels of tiers where you can pay and get access to different types of content, remove ads, download different features on the site. This kind of seems like what they're giving us now as creators on YouTube is the ability to kind of even do that same principle on our YouTube channels, which would be all my, like here for video creators, all my content is available for free. And if you don't sponsor the channel, nothing changes for you. Like you still get all the same stuff you're used to. It's all ad supported, and it is exactly, what you're used to doing. However, for some people who want to support what I'm doing here at Video Creators and want to help me be able to do more and bigger things, like that video that I did a video last week on my channel. It's called "When Your YouTube Career Feels Isolating." That is when, like, that's me and another creator telling a story in a way that we hope is beneficial and educational for creators. I want to do a lot more like that. But those types of storytelling videos where it's kind of more like a short film instead of a 9 principles for this and 9 ways to do that, like those videos have a very low barrier of entry. They're very simple to make. I shot 6 of them just yesterday afternoon, right? So they don't take that much time. But the more valuable content that I believe actually make a difference and change people's lives because of the story that's wrapped around it, that takes like 10 times longer to make, like that one I just did last time. So I want to do more of that, but I'm going to need to figure out the math behind it. So that's where like some of you guys who say, Tim, I want to be a sponsor and I want to help support this so you can continue to give more time to those types of videos. That's what a sponsor is. So, and as a thank you, you get access to different perks and rewards, just like you would get on YouTube Red and the platform as a whole. Now you get to do that also on individual channels. Like, so for what I'm doing here at Video Creators, for example, is for sponsors, I am doing an exclusive call in, like on a cell phone, you're calling in to the live stream and we can actually talk and answer your question in front of everybody. And I have a producer, Heidi, actually, who's producing the live stream and the podcast stuff and the questions that coming in from you guys. She's going to be, you can call in and talk to her too, because she's going to be producing them and then passing the calls on to me when I'm ready for the next one. So I'm excited about that, and giving you and working with you guys like kind of personally there. I got one exclusive training already up. It's an hour-long conversation between Roberto Blake and myself about how to develop a winning content strategy for your channel. So you get access to that. I have 2 other hour-long in-depth trainings I'm going to make available. I need to record them. The content's done. I just need to find time to record them and make those available to sponsors and things. And so they're very like scalable things, so that once I do the work and publish it there for sponsors, new sponsors who come on can always get access to that exclusive content. And a lot of other, I've been posting behind the scenes. I posted a bonus clips from the story video I did last week about Julie and I and how we feel isolated as creators and the steps that we take because of that. And so there's a like more raw, uncut version of her streaming space there that I published just for sponsors as well. So I hope that makes sense. Like what YouTube is doing as a whole is kind of like what they're bringing down to, and hopefully in the long term, giving us as creators more access to, for us to do on our own channels with our own audiences, so that we can continue to support what we're doing, so we can continue to support our audiences, so that we can continue to serve people better. that's what all this is all about. So for those of you guys who are sponsors of my channel, thank you so much. I really do deeply appreciate what you guys are doing. And for those of you who aren't, you can click the link in the show notes, or if you're watching the live stream, click that sponsor button and you can find out more about that there. I know you guys have a lot of questions about this. I want to jump in for this and answer some of your questions about even the sponsor stuff, how it works, and some good stuff here. But before I do that, let me quickly go through a few more updates that happened on YouTube. And again, those of you guys who are sponsors, I have a lot more coming for you in terms of updates. But let's go through some of these really quick. So one is YouTube Shines. YouTube Shines. It's called Artists on the Rise program, and they are adding a new thing where it's kind of like YouTube on the Rise, but now it's Artists on the Rise. So they have a program where every 2 weeks or so they pick a new creator and feature them as a tab on the trending page. Now they're adding another one called Artists on the Rise, and this is mostly or just for music artists. So you can kind of see who the up and coming music artists are on YouTube, and that's like extra promotion for those people. Another quick update YouTube is doing is they're working on an Incognito Mode for its Android app. So I guess there's people who want to browse in Incognito Mode on YouTube and not have their viewing history tracked. So that's not out yet, but apparently that's something that's coming on Android that's been detected by some people. YouTube TV, another update, is they're turning on voice remote features for some users. So you have Google Assistant as an app, or as Google Home, for example, the device plugged in. Now you can just talk to it and say like, hey, go back to my last channel, or play NBC, or different voice commands like that. Instead of having to use the app, you can just talk to Google Assistant on your phone or on Google Home in your living room or something, and just control your television that way with YouTube TV. Another update is that YouTube can now tell you who made the music that's in the video that you're watching. So they've been adding credits now to the very bottom of the YouTube's descriptions text, where you can see who made it, who's licensing this content, who is the artist, where you can go to listen to just that music track if you want to, and of course they're promoting it. You can listen to it ad-free with YouTube Red or YouTube Music, and it's all just kind of linking from the data that it gets from Content ID. So if you use copyrighted music in your videos that you do not own the copyright licenses to use, one, don't do that. But two, that music will get linked back to the original artist, and they get kind of automatic credit for that. And just kind of giving them credits in the sections. Okay. So there's a few other updates. I'm going to jump into your questions here, but for those of you who are sponsors and patrons, I have 4 other news articles that we're not going to talk about here today they're also important for us as creators, and you'll get exclusive access to those about some of the things that's happening on Facebook and what they're doing in their influencer marketing program that's brand new, not even really announced yet, but kind of been talking about behind the scenes what that looks like, what that'll give you access to as a Facebook influencer creator on that platform, and what some new people are doing on YouTube Red to help you guys, or not on YouTube Red. Some former YouTube employees are helping you guys earn more money on the platform by helping you develop the business side of your channel. So that's a separate business from YouTube, but more stories, more articles coming to you guys as sponsors and as patrons. So thank you so much for you guys, and I'll get those posted for you guys here later today. Okay, so for you who are watching the live stream, you have a lot of questions here. So let's jump into some of these here and talk about some of these questions you guys have, and hopefully they'll be valuable for everyone who's listening, including those of you guys who are listening to the podcast later. So Tom, Green Shorts DIY, thank you for the $5, and thank you, Tom, for also being a sponsor of the channel. I really do appreciate that. How do sponsors access the extra content? I'm assuming it is native on YouTube. Yes, you do. So the way to do that is you go to the channel's community tab that you are sponsoring, and that's where you'll get to see the sponsored only thing. So when I, like, for example, right after this live stream, this recording, I will be jumping over and doing the exclusive call-in show with patrons, or not with patrons, with sponsors. And so with those people, like that live stream will be exclusive only to sponsors. And the way to get that is you go to the community tab, and that's where you'll find the link to get to that live stream. Or I've been posting like the storyboards I did with this video with Julie last week about feeling like isolated as a creator. Those storyboards, I posted that like a week or two before the video was published as an exclusive like piece of bonus content for patrons. I posted that bonus video that didn't go up on my channel with like the full behind the scenes of Julie's live streaming space and what that looks like for her, and all the 4 monitors and what she uses each of them for, and the multitasking that she does, and how she manages her live streams. So that's like bonus exclusive content for sponsors only as well here. So, and you get all that content by going to the channel's community tab. Now you can also enable notifications for the channel to get notified of push notifications, either, via email or publish, or a push notification on your mobile phone, so that when the channels that you're sponsoring publish that exclusive content, you instantly get that notification. So I would highly recommend that you do that so that you can be assured that you get that content. That's one of the pieces of feedback that I would love to see happen, is that for creators who have the sponsor button on their channel, I just want to know that I'm assured that the people who are paying money for these thank yous that I'm giving them, how can I be assured that they're actually getting access to it and getting notified about it? So I know that's a question we all want to have answered just for our channels in general, like when we publish a video. But I certainly want to know how that's working for people who are sponsoring. And speaking of sponsors, it looks like we got a few new ones. Thank you, Jenny O'Brien. And thank you, Chase and Cole's Adventures. Hey, good to see you, Ralph. Thank you for being a sponsor. And Patty, thank you so much, the 3 of you guys, for doing that. And hopefully we get to talk here in a few minutes in our sponsored only call-in live stream with you guys. All right, so Patty, new sponsor. She asked, is the sponsor button available for everyone, or is it just on a trial for some? It's just a trial for some. It's in closed beta right now, which means that it's by invitation only. And so YouTube is just experimenting with a few different creators right now, collecting a lot of data. I don't have any information about when this will be rolled out more broadly, or even if it will be rolled out more broadly. If the experiment fails, maybe they'll take it away from all of us. I don't know. I don't see that happening, because YouTube gaming has had this for a long time. And so as a response to like Twitch. So I think now they're just experimenting more with the idea of rolling it out to YouTube channels in general that aren't part of gaming, and seeing how it works with those types of audiences. So they have a lot to learn about that, I'm sure, but I don't know when it's going to be available for everyone. So let's see here. Mike Pickett, is the sponsor button only going to be available for channels with monetization? Yes, is my guess. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't be, because it's linked to your AdSense account. So when someone sponsors you, the money that the creator generates from that and earns from that gets paid to them through their AdSense check every week, or every month. So yes, you will at least need to have monetization enabled for that to work. Dan T, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Will there be an integration between Patreon and YouTube sponsors? How do you handle having sponsors in both places? Can patrons use YouTube sponsors perks? Thanks. I don't think there will ever be an integration between the two. I think there'll be 2 separate platforms. Right now, Patreon is far more robust, many more features, much more flexible, a lot more you can do with it. You actually get to kind of own the audience, because you can access their email addresses, but you're also doing all the customer support and all the refunds, and you're managing everything there too. So it's a much more robust system. It's been around for longer, and it's designed to be basically a membership site, is what Patreon's doing. YouTube sponsors is more to be like a thank you, perks and rewards type thing. So how you deliver those rewards is much more limited right now, and there's not nearly like the flexibility with it that you would get with Patreon. So I don't think there will be an integration. And how do I handle having sponsors in both places? I am actually going to be changing, and I'm going to be changing Patreon. And my patrons, they know about this. I've been talking with it in our monthly hangouts and things. But I'm going to be keeping it, but moving it a little bit later down in like my customer journey, so to speak, in my funnel, and not having it be like so many competing things being the first thing you guys can do. Hey, subscribe to my channel. Hey, become a sponsor. Hey, become a patron. Hey, get this free ebook, join this email list, and buy this 30 Days to a Better YouTube channel, and meet me at this place, or whatever. Too many options. I need to make the customer journey more focused, and next step easy. Next step easy. Okay, got it. And I feel like having too many options is getting too confusing. So I'm gonna keep Patreon, but it's not gonna be like the first thing people see. So that's how. So in that case, sponsors will be kind of more entry level because I can't currently anyway. I can't control the pricing for that. So if there's something I wanted to do that would require a little bit more funding for me to pull off, I wouldn't be able to do that through sponsors. I'd have to use Patreon, where I actually control the funding, and Patreon takes 5% versus YouTube takes 30%. So you'll get a lot more of that contribution through Patreon as well. But sponsors are built right into your YouTube channel, and it's right there next to your subscribe button. It's like an easy next step. You subscribe. Next step is very clear of the customer journey. It's become a sponsor, and it's integrated right into YouTube. So the 30% versus 5%, I feel like might make a difference in terms of just growing it better at scale because there's it's just so much easier right there on the YouTube channel. SSG Android tutorials. Hey Tim, how does the sponsor button work? Is that something you can enable, or how do you earn that? Yeah, so if you guys want to learn more about it, I published a video like a few weeks ago on my channel about how the sponsor button works and what it looks like and all those things. But basically, I get to offer some perks and rewards to you guys who become sponsors and community sponsors. And then I call them community sponsors because sponsors just sounds confusing to me because you can also have brand sponsors. So in my mind, I'm kind of calling one community sponsors and one brand sponsors just so that it's a little bit clear. But you get access to those then on the community page is how you get access to those perks. Let's see. Upsna Picks. Is that strictly to the shows that YouTube creates or applicable to all types of creators? I'm not sure what the context is there you're referring to, but YouTube creates shows called YouTube Originals, and you can only get access to those through YouTube Red after tomorrow, known as YouTube Premium, or you can get access to them through YouTube TV as well. And they're just ad supported. So that's the way to get content access to those. The only way to get access to the exclusive premium content that I'm creating here and making available for sponsors is through the YouTube community tab on my channel. And so that's how that works. YouTube Believe Guitar. Question for Tim. Do you think creators will have to pay to use YouTube in the future? No, I don't think they'll have to pay because one thing is very important to Google. Like their value proposition for their entire business is organizing the world's information and making it accessible to everyone. So if they're going to do that for the people in other countries, people even in our own country who don't have the financial means to actually be able to pay to get access to content, like it has to be ad supported. That's the only way that's going to work. So I don't think there's any chance that YouTube will do that. You'll have to pay to access like all of YouTube in the future. Their whole entire business model is selling advertising. It's a media company. They're selling advertisements on Facebook, on Google search, and on all their different platforms, and on YouTube. So they would have to fundamentally change their entire business and their mission as a company in order to do that. So I don't think there's any chance of that happening. At least not anytime soon. If that was going to change, we would see it coming from like miles away. It would be years in the making to make that switch, in my opinion. Bill the Thrill. What benefits are greater, being a patron or a new YouTube sponsor? What are the differences? It depends on the person you want to support. So what people offer you as thank yous through Patreon and through as a sponsor might be different and might be exactly the same. So it kind of depends on the creator, because they get to create whatever perks they want to supply to you guys as thank yous. In terms of being a creator, like it's kind of like what I said. Patreon, it takes up 5%, YouTube takes 30%, but YouTube's integrated right into your channel, and it's integrated with things like live streams and comments and things like that on your channel. Patreon's a third party. Everything takes place off of YouTube, but you have more control and flexibility. So kind of just depends on what you want. And let's see here. Sharon Wise, how do you bring up sponsors or Patreon to your viewers without losing subs or thinking that you're only in it for the money? Help and thank you. Yeah, Sharon, this really comes down to the pitch. And I would not say something like, hey guys, I've been doing this for free for 5 years now. Now you need to give me money to do it, because I've decided I've been doing it long enough that you should have to pay for it now. Right? People would be like, what? Like, no, thank you. And I have a video coming out. One of the 6 that I shot yesterday is actually kind of about this topic, not about pitching, but more about the topic of like different ideas and things you can use with your patrons or with your sponsors. And the pitch the way I think about this, I'll give you the short version right now, is that I think about this not in terms of like you're buying something from me, like you're buying these videos or you're paying for access to certain content. Instead, I think on this level, I think the relationship between me and sponsors and patrons is that you guys, like you want to support the content I'm already doing for you. And you really just want to support me and help me do it better. And so I then get to give you like a thank you gift every month, multiple times a month for that. So if I don't do the thank you gift, like it's not the end of the world. And there are plenty of Patreon accounts who offer nothing in return to their patrons. Literally nothing. It's just thank you for your support. And that's it. Who are doing quite well because that community is strong and it's about supporting the creator. And I've heard every time I evaluate and survey my patrons, the number one reason that they always give me for why they support video creators is, Tim, I just want to support you and what you're doing. Like support your free content and what you're already doing. I didn't sign up because I wanted to buy these perks. The perks are great, thank you, but I'm here to support. So when I hear that makes me think like, you know, the mistake I made on Patreon that I'm going to be changing here in the next week or two is that the time it takes for me to fulfill all those perks kind of cancels out the amount of money that it generates. And so for me to be like, okay, if the patrons are here to support the content I'm doing for free, then I need to kind of revamp the way I'm doing these perks so that it generates revenue to support the content that they're actually paying for. So for me, my perks revolve around 2 things typically. Because they're here, there's a financial contribution and there's a community contribution that patrons and sponsors are making. So I tend to offer perks that revolve around content and revolve around community and interaction. Okay. So interaction would be like the call-in show I'm doing in 15 minutes right after this live stream where people can call in and talk to me and we'll actually like live stream that conversation to sponsors. It's the monthly hangouts. It's a lot of different things that they get access to. And content tends to be more like these exclusive in-depth trainings I'm going to make available and post there for these people. Again, just as like thank yous for them. So look for that video coming out here in the next few weeks. I think that'll answer a lot more of your questions about that and help give you some input and insights into that. Creative graphics. Maybe YouTube will let us charge for our channels too in the future. That is currently a feature, actually. It's already there. I think it's kind of being phased out because very few people used it, and it's probably phased out already. I think I still have access to the setting, but that was something else that YouTube tried years ago when they tried the support button, was you could convert your channel to being a paid channel where people could pay a few bucks a month to access all the content on that channel. And those never really took off. I think it was kind of a little bit too early before its time in that people back then expected all YouTube content to be free. And so to pay to access content on a channel just didn't feel natural. And people didn't like that. And so, I mean, there was some shows you could select to have some shows available for free on the channel as like and then you could also select to even have to do a free trial at that time, like access all the content for 1 month for free and then pay after that. But none of that stuff really worked. So maybe would it work today? I don't know, maybe, but that feature they eliminated. And I kind of like the direction it's going now, which is that everything by default is free for you, not free for me. I pay people to edit, and that takes my time to create and time away from things that would otherwise be paying bills, right? So it's costly for me and my team to produce, as you guys understand, but it's free to you. But now I can choose which content it would be exclusive for sponsors and which content gets published freely for everyone, right? So that's a choice that I get to make now. So a lot, okay, one more question, good more. Cute Institute, YouTube Premium lets you download creators' videos. I was planning on selling my video episodes on my own website. Now YouTube will be making downloads of my episodes available. Yes, but not to just like rip off of the way it worked. I just did it last night. I downloaded the new YouTube series, Cobra Kai, from YouTube Red, because I'm going to be traveling for a little bit. And so while I'm on the road, while I'm in airplanes and airports, and I don't want to burn through all my data. So through the YouTube app, you can download them and watch them inside the app. And then all this metrics and watch time and things get sent back to your YouTube analytics for that video when that phone or that device reconnects to the internet. So it's not like download and burn to DVDs. It's just offline viewing is another way of thinking about it inside the YouTube app. That's it. So you can still totally do it if you want. If you wanted to sell downloads where people could download on their computer or watch it on another device, you could still absolutely do that if you wanted to. And I think that's different. BMOC 888. So if I have YouTube Red, will that be the same as YouTube Premium then? Yes. Same thing, except for now you're also getting YouTube Music instead of Google Music Play, which you're still getting Google Music Play, but now you're also getting into addition, I should say, YouTube Music. So a lot of good questions, a lot of things to go through. For those of you guys who are listening to the podcast recording of this, I would love to hear your feedback. You can tweet me at Tim Schmoyer and consider becoming a sponsor and getting access to that exclusive content, supporting the community here. I do my best to support you guys. There's a link in the show notes you can use to go check that out. And for those of you guys who are watching the live stream, looking forward to seeing you guys again next Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time to talk about all the new updates and changes that will happen this upcoming week and talk about what it means for us as creators. For those of you who are sponsors, I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. Check the community tab for the link to that sponsor-only live stream call-in show that we're going to be doing. And thank you guys, everyone, for hanging out. And we'll see you guys again next week. Thank you. See you later. Bye.